Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. My name is Krista. We are going to start week 4 of the Every Bits Count Challenge, and we are in the kitchen doing a really exciting canning project. I've actually not found a video, maybe I've not looked too far, but I've not found a video of somebody canning this, so I'm super excited to show you guys. I have never personally canned this before, and I'm kind of looking forward to having it on my shelf because I personally avoid these with all costs because it is full of food dye. So I am talking about Maraschino, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Maraschino cherries. So I just picked up my Azure order and we have 4 pounds of, these are Bing cherries. So what we're gonna do is we are going to start this video off with this project. Now this project actually takes 2 days because these cherries have to sit in a brine for 12 hours. So I will start the project and then we'll finish it tomorrow. So this video is going to be very similar to last week's video, where it is going to be just a whole bunch of different canning projects that I have been getting done. I've actually already completed 2 big canning days, and I did record some of those that I will include in this video for you guys. But we'll start off with this project, get this going, and then we'll come back tomorrow and then we'll be able to finish it and get it canned up. The other thing I have going back here is I have some chicken broth. I cooked up a whole chicken yesterday because we're trying to clear out our freezers because we are going to be processing our 9 turkeys this Saturday. So they are running about 40 to 50 pounds each, and we have 9 of them. So I really need to get some freezer space cleared up. So I was actually hoping that this week I was going to be able to get to can some ground beef so that I could clear that out of the freezer, but I've just been so busy with other stuff. So we'll get started on this project. And then what I'll do is I will, after we're done this project, I will include those other little bits that we have been doing, hence every bit counts, because really every bit really does count. I have found that it's sometimes, some days, it's really hard, especially when I have a busy work day. It's really hard for me just to say, what am I going to preserve today? So even finding the littlest thing it's been working for me. So we'll do the cherries. I'll include the other ththings that we've been doing. We'll probably can up that chicken broth together also. But look at these tomatoes, guys. That's 2 8-foot-long tables full of tomatoes. My plants are slowly dying, so this will probably be the last of the tomatoes. Well, I mean, I probably have about 100 more to pick out there, but for now, this is the last of them. Tomorrow, we're gonna try to can up 2 really fun condiments. I said it in my last video, I'm really trying to avoid going to the grocery store to buy condiments. So I found a recipe online. Let me get my paper here. I have a to-do list of all my canning projects. So I have 2 really fun tomato projects that I want to get done. One of them is a sweet and sour sauce, and that one actually uses 4 cups of tomatoes. So we'll be able to get quite a bit used from that. And then the second one that I want to make is a sweet chili sauce. This one, the review said that it goes really, really well with like a chicken. So I thought we could can some of that up. I've never made it before, and this one takes 16 cups of tomatoes. So we'll definitely be able to get a lot of those used. I'm also gonna just do some diced tomatoes. I need to make some salsa. So all of those things will get done. But tomorrow, I think I'm gonna call it tomato day, and tomorrow we will get to doing those tomato projects, and then plus we'll be able to finish up those cherries and get that chicken broth. Probably not the chicken broth because that has to cool down before I can it so I can scrape off some of the fat. So we probably won't get to canning chicken broth tomorrow, but we have so many other fun projects to get done. So let's get started on those cherries right now. Sorry guys, I'm gonna be a little cut off here. So in a stock pot here, I have 2 quarts or 8 cups of water. I'm just gonna add it here, and we're just gonna set it aside because I have to start the project of getting all of these cherries pitted. So we're gonna get those cherries pitted, but I wanted to show you guys something. I did my Azure pickup today, and guys, we are in a heat advisory today. It is no joke out there. I'll show you what it's at. 110 is the heat index. It was actually a little bit more intense than that when I left for my Azure pickup. I think it said something like 114 or something with the heat index. It's hot. So of course I'm doing canning projects when it is a heat advisory outside. We have to get these all washed and pitted. I don't own a cherry pitter because Steven does not like cherries, so I don't really preserve any cherries at all. But because these were on sale and I personally love cherries, I'm wanting to get some stuff on the shelf. So that's why I decided to make this recipe. Plus, I don't really eat them because of the food dye in it. And this recipe has 0 food dye in it. So that's what's kind of intriguing to me about it. I remember eating them a little bit when I was a kid and really loving the taste of it. But I just remember being told that the dye was not good for you. So then I stopped eating them, and I always take them out of like ice cream sundaes or anything like that. I never eat them. So we need to figure out how the best way to pit these is going to be. I'm guessing we'll just, because the cherry needs to stay intact. How are we going to pit these guys? I don't know. I guess I'm just going to dig the pit out. We'll see. If you guys have any suggestions on the best way to pit cherries, it would be great. Without a cherry pitter. Obviously the best way to pit a cherry is with the cherry pitter. And I have a feeling that, like, see, I'm destroying them. I have a feeling that my hands are going to be a beautiful shade of red by the time I'm done this. Okay, we have all of our cherries pit, and my hand is not super red. It's kind of red, but it's not as red as I thought it was going to be. So we have about 3 pounds of cherries here. And then, like I said, on the stovetop here, we have our 2 quarts of water. So what we're gonna do is we are going to add, I'm just double checking the recipe here. We're gonna add a tablespoon of pickling salt. It says you can use pickling salt or kosher salt. So we'll just use a tablespoon of this. This is just my pickling salt. And then we have to bring that to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, take it off the heat, and then we let it cool for 10 minutes. So we'll come back once this is all boiled up. Got our cherries. This is our salt water mixture. So it just says to pour it over top of the cherries. Hopefully this bowl's big enough. And then it says to cover it, put it in the fridge for at least 12 hours. So we will come back tomorrow and then do the rest of the ingredients for this stuff. But I'm really excited about this one. Okay, so we got the cherries in the fridge. So I will come back and see you guys tomorrow while we do our tomato day. That's what I'm gonna call it, tomato day. And also we'll get those cherries finished. I am not even gonna pronounce it because I usually don't end up pronouncing whatever they're called. Maraschino, I think that's how you say it. So anyways, I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Hey guys, it's the next day. So we are gonna get at these cherries. I reread the recipe last night, and these cherries actually take 2 days to make. So we're gonna get the second step started. I just wanted to show you, this is a little bit, just made a post on my Instagram. This is some redneck herbalist stuff right here. I just opened my package. I got one of those brand new like chopper things. I went and picked it up today at Walmart because I knew I was going to be doing a whole bunch of tomato stuff that I needed a chopper for. So I went and picked it up. Anyways, I started to clean it, and one of the silly attachments cut my thumb right when I was literally just taking it out of the package. I hadn't even got to use it yet. Cut my thumb. So I ran outside, grabbed some yarrow, quickly wrapped it around my thumb because yarrow is, and I just want to put a little disclosure here, I am not a doctor, I am not a professional herbalist, so this is not medical advice, but this is just what I have read in my herbalist books. Went and put some yarrow around my thumb because yarrow is very, very good for stopping bleeding. It just, something in it activates it just to stop bleeding. So got some yarrow, wrapped it around my thumb, got some packing tape, and we are just gonna continue with our day. I am just getting some sourdough chocolate chip cookies made. That will actually be included on this Saturday. You probably already would have seen it. That Saturday's meals, kind of what we eat in a week. I did those cookies on that video. So anyways, what we need to do now is we need to get those cherries out of the fridge that we put in there last night, and we need to get them good and drained, and then we are going to get our brine started. So let's get them out right now and get them drained. It says to set them aside now, so we will get started on the brine. For the brine, I'm gonna add 4.5 cups of a granular sugar. I'm just using a organic cane sugar. And then you're gonna add 3 cups of water, 1 medium lemon juice. I didn't have a lemon, so I looked it up, and you can use 2 tablespoons of a lemon juice. If you want, at this point, you can add red food coloring. I'm obviously trying to do this without the dye, so I did not add it. So then you're going to bring it to a boil. After it comes to a boil, you're going to add it to your cherries. Now we have to put those cherries back in the fridge for 24 hours, and after 24 hours, then we can can them. I did look this up, and this is a canning safe recipe. So we are gonna get those canned tomorrow, but again, gotta wait for them. So I think what we'll do, because those have to wait for 24 hours, I took my chicken broth this morning and I actually drained out all of the chicken pieces, and it is in my fridge cooling down. That will also get canned up tomorrow. So I guess today it's now time to get into these tomatoes. What I'm gonna do in order to make all of these recipes, because we're gonna do 3 recipes today. We're gonna do salsa, the sweet chili sauce, and what was the other one I said? Sweet and sour sauce. So to make all of those 3, they all require peeled tomatoes. So what we're gonna do is get our tomatoes all peeled. All I do to do that is I just take a pot of boiling water, dunk the tomatoes in there for 30 seconds, remove them, put them into a cold water bath with ice, and then they peel really, really nice. I'm gonna guess we're gonna probably end up doing most of this table here and then some of that table, and then that way we can do all 3 of those recipes. Actually, we may even bang out 4 recipes, because I really do want to get just some plain pints of diced tomatoes, and all as I do is just core them and can them from there. So yeah, I wonder, maybe that's too much. Maybe that's too much ambition, but we'll set our goal at that, and then we'll be comfortable if we don't do it all, because that's a lot. Like tomatoes, one of you guys made a comment, and I 100% agree with your comment. Tomatoes are a lot of work. It's just the coring, and they're a messy job. It seems like they're a really straightforward thing, but it's just a lot of work, and it's really messy. So maybe we set our goals too high, but better to set them high than low. Be an overachiever. So let's overachieve today, or at least try to. Okay, we're gonna get those tomatoes boiled. So I got my tomatoes all like sliced, or not sliced, got them all like X'd. All you do is you just take the tomato and you just put a little X mark in it. My water is now boiling. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple of these, put it in the boiling water, set the timer for about 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, we're gonna take them out and put them in this ice bath here. One thing that I'm gonna do, I found a recipe yesterday. Now that it is not a canning safe recipe, she does not mention anywhere in it that it is canning safe. I probably am not gonna end up canning it. I'll probably end up putting the extras in my garage fridge. But I have all of these little tomatoes. These were supposed to be a variety called Arkansas. Oops, hold the thought, let's take those out. These were supposed to be a variety called Arkansas Travelers, but I am pretty sure they are not, because one of my Arkansas Traveler plants, they're really beautiful bigger tomatoes, and then these ones, there's I think 3 of them. They all grow in little clusters, and they're super small tomatoes. So what I'm gonna do with these is I'm gonna slice them, put them in my dehydrator, and then once they're dehydrated, I'm gonna take them. Okay, I'm not gonna going to put any more in because I'm going to finish what I'm telling you guys. So I'm going to take them, slice them, put them in a dehydrator. Once they're dehydrated, I'm going to take them out. I'm going to put them in a mason-sized jar, like I'm going to stack them in the jar, and then I'm going to pour some olive oil over top of it and maybe like some different herbs, and it's going to be a sun-dried tomato. I really want to have some sun-dried tomatoes for some pasta dishes in the winter, and so I seen this recipe, but she said it wasn't canning safe. Well, actually in the comments, somebody asked if they could can it, and her reply was, sure, just make sure you're following the canning safe rules. I don't know what those canning safe rules are for oil. I don't think there is any. Please, if there is, if you guys know of a safe sun-dried tomato canning recipe, please leave it in the comments, because I would love to know. What my plan to do with it is just put it into the fridge. And now the olive oil will probably solidify being in the fridge, but that's the only safe way that I can see of doing it. So let's get these tomatoes finished. Show you how easy they peel. See? Skins just come right off of them. So you can save the peelings and dehydrate them, and this is an excellent tomato powder. You can actually make tomato paste with these, but I'm not going to. I decided to wait till that was done so I can come back and talk to you without the thing going off. Anyways, I have this full of dried tomato powder. This is what I made last year in my dehydrator, so I don't need to make it again. Plus, I can supplement some of my chicken's feed by giving them all this extra scrap. So I am going to do that instead of preserving more of this, because I honestly don't need any more of this year. The other thing too is, look at this tomato. In love with it. It is so gorgeous. I was gonna cut it up and like do this with it, but I decided that I am gonna make this into a tomato sandwich. It is way too pretty not to eat. This is either a pineapple or a hillbilly tomato. Both of them taste very, very similar. I'm wondering if hillbilly is just another name for pineapple. I'm not sure, but they are one of my favorite. This and Paul Robinson, I think it's called, Robson. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, it's a smoky tomato. Let me see if I have one here. I know I just processed one. I actually don't think I have any left because that plant is almost dead. So I don't think I have any more left, but those are a super smoky tomato. They're so delicious. Now, Roots and Refuge, she does this thing called butter tomato, where she browns up some butter, or brown butter tomato, I think she calls it. And she browns up butter and then pours it hot over top of the tomato. That with the Paul Robinson tomato, so delicious. I can leave the link for that recipe in the video description for you guys. The other link I will leave for you is, I will leave the link for the sun-dried tomatoes that I'm going to be doing also, but just be aware it is not canning safe. So what I've done, we're finished the first batch of tomatoes, so I've got all the peelings taken off of them. They're all right here in this bowl, so I need to core them up and dice them. And then what I'm gonna do is divide them up into 3 different pots, because we're gonna be doing 3 different recipes with them. So let me get, I still have a sink full of tomatoes that we have to get skinned. So let me get that done, and then we'll come back when I'm ready to kind of get them all divided for the different recipes. Okay guys, it has been about 3 hours. It is taking me 3 hours to get all of these all chopped up. So we have a roaster oven full. What we're gonna do is divide them into the 2 recipes. The sweet chili sauce takes 2 hours to cook, so we're gonna get that one done last so that it can cook while I'm getting my supper ready. We also took those little tomatoes and we sliced them up like this. I have my dehydrator, what are these things called? Trays. I'm so tired from cutting up tomatoes. So we have our trays out. What we're gonna do is put the tomato slices on that, and it is really humid today because we are having this excessive heat issue today. So these probably are gonna take, I'm being realistic, they're probably gonna take a couple of days to dehydrate because these tomatoes are really wet. So let me get these into the dehydrator, and then I promise we will come back and get at least one of those sauces started. Oh, I got a Band-Aid for my thumb now. Literally, this is the only Band-Aid I have, a Crayola Band-Aid. Just gonna space them out like this on the tray. That way they get good ventilation, and my hope is that they'll dry a little bit quicker. They get good airflow. That's the word I was looking for. We need 2 cups of onions. In this stock pot here, I have 4 cups of the diced tomato. Double check the recipe. Yeah, 2 cups. Might need to cut another onion. Just says to add it all to the stock pot. Yeah, that's 2 cups. Perfect. And then we need to also cut up 2 cups of green pepper. All right, and then next up, we need to take 20 ounces of pineapple, and we need to drain it, but it says to reserve the juice. So I'm gonna get these drained and then save the juice also. Now it says 20 ounces, and these each, I think, are only 15. Jars don't say. What do they do? 2, 6, 10. Yeah, so we'll use 2 pint-sized jars. I'm gonna add these in, and then what it says to do is just bring it to a boil. I forgot to tell you guys, the other thing I have here is I have my water bath canner full of jars. It says to put the jars in and just keep them hot until we need to fill them. It says that this recipe comes together fairly easy, unlike the other one where it says it needs to boil for 2 hours. So I don't know if we're gonna get to it tonight, to be honest. I still have a roaster oven full of tomatoes. I really want to get canned up some just regular diced tomatoes. So we might do that instead of the other sauce tonight, and I might, tomorrow, I might do the other sauce, because to be honest with you, it's 5 o'clock. I've been going since 5:30 this morning. I'm really tired. So I think what we're gonna do is, remember I said at the beginning I had a lot of hefty goals? I wasn't anticipating I was anticipating. It takes a really long time to peel and core and do all of that with tomatoes. So that took a lot longer than expected, but I want to show you guys something. Look what we managed to do. This table is empty, and this table is only halfway full. And these tomatoes that are on here, they're not completely ripe yet, so they have a little bit longer to sit there. So we got all of the ripe tomatoes used up today and peeled and cored and everything. So I think what we'll do, to be realistic, I think what we'll do is we'll finish the day up. I will show you how we're gonna finish making this sauce, and then tomorrow I may come back with you guys, and then we'll make the other sauce, because I have to make the other sauce. I'm just debating when it's gonna happen. So I think that's what we'll do. You never know. Things change really quickly with me, so we'll see. Okay, we're at a boil. So what we're gonna do now is add 2 cups of sugar. I'm just using an organic white sugar, or organic cane sugar, sorry. It says you can add up to 5 cups depending on how sweet you want it. We're gonna start with 2. And then 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, but we're gonna use this liquid aminos. And then we're gonna add 2 cups of white vinegar with a 5% acidity. I'm feeling like I wanna immersion blend this. It's really chunky, but it doesn't say anything about immersion blending it. But I'm feeling I want to. So in a medium bowl, we have to mix 1/2 cup of sugar and 1/2 cup of clear gel. Says to mix thoroughly. So what we have to do is add the sugar and clear gel to the reserved pineapple juice. Just says to mix really well. So it says make sure that the tomato mixture is at a boil, and then stir this in until it is thickened. And it says it will thicken up quickly, so remove it from the heat as soon as it thickened. I came in and hit this a little bit with an immersion blender because some of my tomato pieces were really chunky. So hopefully that's fine. There's still, like, you can see big chunks in it, so this should be fine. Okay, let's stir this in. Probably should get a spatula. Get the sugar in here. Just says stir until thickened. That's pretty good. It's thick. We're gonna take it off the heat and we are gonna get this put into jars. It is really, really hot. Hot, hot. Let's get these jarred up. I tasted this and this is delicious. This would taste so good with some chicken. It's exactly like sweet and sour chicken. It's really, really good. So we're leaving 1/2 inch headspace. Show you guys. Oh, so delicious. I'm definitely making this again. Oh, we have such a messy canner. Bubble. And we're gonna clean the rims with some vinegar. Oh, I just got vinegar in my cut. Ooh, that feels good. Oy, 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 oy. Get these rings on, fingertip tight. Okay, we're gonna get these in the water bath canner. These need to go in for 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes, we're gonna remove it from the heat, take the lid off. We're gonna set the timer for 5 minutes. We'll let it kind of cool down a little bit and then we'll take the jars out. And then we will leave them on a towel on the table for at least 12 hours before we clean it and take the rims off. So I'm gonna wait until these come to a rolling boil and then we'll start the timer for the 30 minutes. We are on the final day of these cherries. So what we're gonna do is take them out of the fridge and we are going to drain the cherries. We're gonna reserve all of that liquid and put the cherries aside. With that liquid, we're gonna bring it to the stovetop and bring it back to another boil. After it's come to a boil, we're gonna remove it from the heat and stir in 1 teaspoon of almond extract. Then we are gonna pour that hot liquid over top of the cherries. Now at this point, if you want, you can just put them in jars and put them in your fridge, and it says it stays fresh for up to 2 weeks in the fridge. But there is also canning directions, so we are gonna go with the canning because you know me, I love canning everything. So we are going to put the cherries into these hot jars. Now it says to leave anywhere in between 1/4 to 1 inch headspace. I decided to go in the middle and we did 1/2 inch headspace. Now there was some reserved cherry juice there and it tasted exactly like grenadine. I think that's the word. So I canned up 2 jars of that. So now I have perfect drink mix. So this is me taking them out of the canner. That day, I really just wanted to kind of get work done. So I ended up canning 24 jars of salsa as well as that day. I unfortunately did not turn the camera on, and that is also my chicken broth that I had canned up that day. Hey guys, we are now back a couple of days later. It is almost becoming a habit, or not a habit, a tradition of me coming back a couple of days later. So I want to first of all apologize. We never got to canning the sweet chili sauce. The reason is because I actually opted to make some salsa and that used up all of my peppers. My pepper plants this year are doing horrible. They got extremely stunted at the beginning of the season, and then lately the hornworms have just been attacking them. I have been picking hornworms off of them like crazy, and they're eating all of my ripe peppers. So what we have to do is we need to go to the Amish and pick up a big box of peppers. I'm not happy about it, but at least they have them on sale. Last time I was there, they had a huge box of peppers, sweet peppers, for $8. So we're gonna go to the Amish on Wednesday and pick up a box, and then together we are going to can that chili sauce because I really wanna do it. And as you can see, My table now has gotten a new collection of tomatoes that have to get used. What had happened is the following day, it was actually my birthday, and I decided that kind of as a gift for myself, I was just going to hammer through a whole bunch of projects and just get it done. So that day I had actually canned up all of my chicken broth. I canned up those cherries that I showed you. And then we also did 24 pints of salsa. So that's where I used up all the peppers. I'm happy that I have my salsa in my pantry now for the year, so that's done. So next week's video for you guys will definitely get at that chili sauce because I want to show you guys how to make it. I love watching videos of stuff that people don't normally do. Oh, the other thing that I actually did was I canned up a whole bunch of diced tomatoes as well that day, so I used up a bunch of those tomatoes. But I wanted to give you guys an update on those sun-dried tomatoes. I totally screwed up and did the recipe completely wrong, so they didn't end up working to a sun-dried tomato. This is them right here. The way that it actually worked out is that when you are cutting the tomatoes, before you put them on your dehydrator tray, you're actually supposed to soak them in oil and the herbs and then dehydrate them and then put them in the jar. So we completely missed that step. But these tomatoes are delicious and I have been snacking on them. They are such a little sweet treat. So good. It's kind of like, if you put a little salt on it, this would definitely be a good chip alternative if you like tomatoes. If you don't like tomatoes, this would not be a good chip alternative. But anyways, so we're gonna do that project also. I'm gonna try to turn the camera on and show you guys how to correctly do it this time because we have a lot of tomatoes that we still need to get used up. I feel like the only thing I'm showing you guys is tomatoes, but this year that is what we have an abundance of. Unfortunately, we don't have an abundance of peppers, but that's okay. We have local resources that will help us with that. So again, I'm sorry guys, I didn't come back with you and we're doing this it's a couple of days later thing and it will improve once the mass amount of this preserving season is done. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it. I really do appreciate you being here and I love this group of friends that we have. It is so heartwarming to me to read your guys' comments and know that you are getting something out of these videos. I love showing you fun recipes. For me, I love watching people doing not the normal traditional canning stuff, like new fun recipes, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. So I hope you guys have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys.